months. Woo! Hey everyone, Mariana here. Thanks for coming back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be talking about a topic that I've been so interested in for a really long time now, and that is academia aesthetics. Academia? Academia. I don't know which one is the proper way to pronounce it, so if I'm pronouncing it wrong the entire video, I apologize in advance. I hear people use like both ways, but I'm pretty positive it's academia. Like macadamia, right? I could be wrong. But yes, I think this aesthetic is just so beautiful, so cool, as well as I really feel a connection to it. For 2020 and into 2021 now, I have really tried to make a goal for myself to just be the best version of myself, be my most authentic self, and live my life as unapologetically as I can. And I think kind of finding my aesthetic, finding that community is a really, really important step. And now I will say, it's totally normal to have more than one aesthetic. For me though, personally, as a water sign, I just have a overall hard time picking one aesthetic. So I kind of, over the last couple months, have realized that when it comes to the fall and winter season, I think this academia aesthetic really fits my style, really fits my personality, and just kind of my overall interests and look at life. Now here's the catch, here's the gag. Academia aesthetics is so deep, there's so much depth to it. There's all these different subcategories that I had no idea about. So that's what we're gonna do for this video. We are going to dive headfirst into understanding what this aesthetic is, kind of key components to this aesthetic, as many subcategories as we can figure out, as well as taking a quiz to really see which category of academia aesthetics am I, and then putting it to the test. If you're interested in seeing me try this out, keep watching. I'm so excited. Let's get into it. I'm just gonna say I took it back a little bit because I'm a Scorpio and I take research very seriously. But after I was finding everything, I was like, this is so much. I need to dial it down a little bit. So let's begin first with kind of my initial perspective of this vibe, this aesthetic. So what you're seeing now on your screen is my Pinterest board that I created for it. And on this Pinterest board, for the most part, it's darker, neutral tones like browns and beiges and blacks, whites, creams, reds, with maybe like a sprinkle of like greens and oranges, very minimal, as well as books. Books are probably the primary component of this aesthetic in that, from what I've gathered, a lot of it is about learning and educating and kind of having that school girl, boy-ish kind of vibe. You know, with the plaid skirts and the sweaters and the collars of the sweaters and all of those vibes. And I personally love it. For the most part, in the winter time, I stick to tones like this, as you see on my jacket, where in the summer, I'll spice it up a little bit more with color. But for the most part, I like black, white, browns, some reds, and occasionally green. I will say I have kind of gotten into like the sagey kind of greens of recent trend right now. As you know, because I talk about it nonstop on my channel, I love books, I love reading, I love nothing more than going to a cafe and spending all day journaling, reading books. I love bookstores. I mean, listen, I don't shame people who use Kindles, but I just can't do it. I need to have the physical book in my hand, and the smell of new books and old books just like, give me so much life. So because of all of those factors, I really felt this is very similar to my already existing kind of aesthetic and vibe that I have for myself. So I think this community is something that I can definitely jump into. Now we're gonna go into the more factual components of it by looking at some of the research that I found. So I found a lot of different sources, but this one felt like it wrapped it up the best. So this is the La Official website. It's a fashion website and it kind of breaks down the aesthetic. So as you can see, it says a comprehensive guide to academia aesthetics. I love the fact too that it points out this Gen Z aesthetic. So as you can see, it right away talks about education. And this kind of just goes into how, COVID has affected the learning environment, this and that and this. So now we have this big line here that says, academia refers to a style that is influenced by learning. Think tweed blazers and cozy reading nooks, perfect for spending hours in while studying. The aesthetic then divides into subcategories like dark academia, darkest academia, light academia, art academia, and even romantic and chaotic academia. So here's an important note that I want to make. I kind of knew of light and dark. A lot of these other subcategories I had absolutely no idea existed. So that's why I wanted to kind of take a step back and look into it more, as well as take the quiz and kind of see where I really lie with it. It continues by saying, marked by warm tones, woolen textures, and a more analog sensibility, academia is the ideal comforting trend for winter. Okay, so this goes back to my other note in saying that I don't think there's anything wrong with having multiple aesthetics, especially when it comes to seasons. As someone who lives in the northeast of the United States, we have seasons. We have winter and very cold winters, and we have summers, very hot summers. And sometimes sticking to one aesthetic can kind of not work well with both seasons. So that's why I personally feel like my aesthetic for the winter and the fall and even little bits of the spring is primarily this academia vibe. As you can tell by my kind of woolen grandma-y sweater, this is something that I am very attracted to. Now when it comes to the summer, not as much, because let's be honest, it's really hot here in the summer. I sweat uncontrollably. So my aesthetic is kind of cute, but also really minimal because I'm sweating, but I also can't walk around the streets butt naked. So what's the kind of middle part of it? The actual kind of style of it though, I don't know. That could be a video that we could do in the summer and kind of dive into. I feel like it's very cottagecore-y or baby dolly. It's a lot of lighter pastel colors, I feel like. I very rarely wear deep black or darker tones in the summer. I don't know, that could be a video for the future. It then continues on to say that the academia aesthetic views knowledge as king, and its subscribers have formed a welcoming community around the desire to learn. Just as anyone and everyone can be a scholar, academia is open to all who value intelligence and sophistication, meaning it's a particularly welcoming community for androgynous, non-binary, and LGBTQ+ individuals. This is another key aspect to it for me. I kind of found this aesthetic primarily through TikTok, honestly, but once I kind of dove into it a little bit, I did also notice this, and that was kind of also a key attraction to me. In these last 6 months, I have kind of opened up more about my sexuality to myself and to close loved ones around me. And I don't want to get into great detail about it right now. I think I want to make a full video about it, but I'll put it this way. I'm not straight. So because of that, I really like the fact that this is a big point that even this magazine is making, that this specific aesthetic is very opening and welcoming to the LGBTQ+ community. So love that about it. The academia aesthetic revolves around the classics in dressing novels, movies, architecture, but it's progressive when it comes to breaking stereotypes related to gender and fluidity in aesthetics. Again, another key point, I love the idea of that with this aesthetic, I can be really feminine with it, but then I can also be really masculine with it too. And I just love that duality. I think it just opens up to more variations and more easy lanes and access to express yourself. It continues to go on about university, Ivy League inspiration, as well as sophistication, yada yada yada. It talks about like nostalgia, and it brings up films like the Dead Poets Society and School Ties. So then we get into dress code, and right off the bat, sophisticated dressing is in the second line, and I couldn't agree more. And right off the bat, it talks about black turtlenecks, wool, tweed, plaid coats, smart trousers, and ties. And typically you wear a worn satchel instead of a designer bag, and because it's filled with dog-eared novels. Love that. It continues in going on about talking about the color palette, saying that it's a more neutral color palette, grays, browns, and blacks. And it talks about how on TikTok, Pinterest, Tumblr, and Instagram, the dark academia accounts post outfit ideas, often accessorized with stale coffee cups, novels, or rained on windows. Couldn't agree more. So here's a cute example of build an outfit, and they say pick a sweater, then pick a pant or a skirt, then pick a jacket, and then lastly top it off with some cute little loafers, a bag, some glasses, and a watch. It continues to go into like pop culture influences, but most importantly it talks about modern influences. And here it really talks about just kind of how important it is on TikTok and how that's a really, really heavy influence on it. As well as it talks about how, say with like light academia, it kind of offers more romantic, physically bright takes on the trend and focuses more on paintings and sculptures rather than text and film. There's more of a comforting gloominess to dark academia. And overall just kind of how the Gen Z population has really like taken hold of it. And I think that's really cool. As well as here we have some kind of more high fashion examples, but we don't have to worry about that. We're doing this on a budget. So that's, I feel like, a pretty good like base level understanding of what this aesthetic is. And as I said, there are a lot of different subcategories. We have dark, I guess dark is two, light, classic, modern, art, romantic, chaotic, all different categories of academia. And now overall, at least from my understanding, is that you kind of have the same idea of like the neutral tones as well as education, learning, books. Those are kind of the key primary factors. And then from there, that's where the variations begin. So say dark academia has more kind of gloomy aspects, more darker tones, kind of more darker elements to it, where light has kind of, the opposite, kind of more bright, maybe more lighter neutral tones within the palette of the clothing. I believe with, art and romantic, it's less, as it says, about text and film and more about art and sculpture kind of being heavier influences in the educational knowledge component of it. With classic, I think it's kind of more the broader one that kind of encompasses a lot of pieces of it. Modern might be kind of around the same style of that. For chaotic, no idea. Could apply to me, but not exactly sure. So before we go into taking the quiz to see which aesthetic I am, I'm gonna make kind of a hypothesis first. I'm gonna guess what I think I would be. Based on my interests and my already pre-existing wardrobe, I would say that I am probably like a modern or classic. In that I definitely have moments where I'm a little more dark academia. I definitely have moments where I'm more light, but I don't think that I can just stick to one. I definitely would say that as much as I am, an art lover, I think text and film are a bigger influence on me. So that probably rules out the romantic and the art academia. So I feel like classic would be the best because I think, at least from what I understand, it might kind of encapsulate both dark and light kind of together and have like a happy medium. And I think that's kind of where I more lie. So let's see if I'm right or not. Okay, so this is the quiz that I found. It's called What Type of Academia is Truly Your Aesthetic? Honestly, I just Googled quizzes about this and this is the first one that came up. So I don't know how authentic this is, but we're just gonna go with it. So I will leave the link to this in my description box if you're interested. So let's begin. It says, so you've heard about the academia aesthetic, focused on literature and poetry. What kind of academic are you? Chaotic, modern, dark, light, etc. All right, so we already see subcategories that we talked about. So now it's just figuring out which one of those it is. Let's begin. So let's start with my name. Ooh, yep, my name is Mariana. Don't know why Maya popped up. Don't know who that is. Start quiz. Okay. What is your favorite color? I like every color. Creams and whites, maybe pastels too. Black and gray. Dark blue and red. White and gray, maybe light blue too. Dark green and purple, only neutrals. I would say I'm gonna stick with only neutrals, because for the most part, I stick to neutrals. Only every once in a while will I dive into like fun colors, but even then they're more like subdued greens or purples. They're nothing like too crazy. So I'm gonna stick with only neutrals. How late would you stay up reading? I only read during the day, 2 a.m., maybe 9:30ish, 7 p.m. I have a night routine. If it's a good book, I won't sleep. I would say maybe 9:30ish. I will say if I do love a book, I will continue to read it all night, but I get tired really easily, and reading actually makes me tired to begin with. Like, I do it on purpose to help me fall asleep, so I can't really stay up too long reading. But I do love to read a lot, so we'll go with that. What would be your go-to genre if you were bored? Romance, horror or mystery, some classic literature, a play, I'm never bored, a grimoire? I don't even know what that is. I would say, we're talking about books, okay. I would say something classic. Some classic literature. Yeah, definitely think that would be me. Yeah, I'm not never bored. I'm bored way too often. So I think it'd be classic literature. Do you write poetry? Poetry really isn't my thing. Yeah, no, I just read it. Yeah, but it's not very good. I'm gonna say no, but I just read it. I don't really write poetry. I just journal. That doesn't really count. But I love to read poetry. Poetry and prose and short stories I'm really trying to get into more. So yeah, definitely saying that. What's your favorite kind of music? Woohoo, interesting. Pop, jazz, K-pop or J-pop. I don't listen to music much. No. Flamenco, musical, classical music. I would say maybe pop, but I actually have been really into classical musical lately. That sounds like so annoying, but I do, and I do primarily do it when I'm reading and when I'm working, so it's more frequent recently. But I'm gonna say classical music. What kind of pet do you want to have? All the pets, maybe a cat or a dog, something exotic and rare like a special bird, a fish or two, a reptile. I'm gonna stick to maybe a cat or a dog. What's your opinion on politics? Ooh, fuck Trump, yes. I'm not really either way, but I pay attention to what applies to me. No, I'm very opinionated. I keep out of politics. I want to be a politician. I think I'm gonna say I'm very opinionated. Like, I have only recently gotten into politics since like 2016, and I'm very outspoken about it, and I, try to have important conversations. I would say fuck Trump, but I don't want to make it about him. There's so many important issues in this world that I don't want to give him the time of day. So I'm gonna say I'm very opinionated. Have you ever been in love? Multiple times, yes, but only once. I secretly want to be. Love is dumb. I secretly want to be. I've never been in love, but I want to. Psst. What? Poke, poke. Psst. You too. Question mark. Is this seriously a conversation? I think I would say what. I'm always game to know like what's the gossip. Give me the tea. Spill the tea for me. Oh my god, my response. Classic academia. Ooh. Or a classic academic. You're a very diverse person. You read all kinds of books, wear all kinds of clothing, and are generally a hard to read person. You know what? I'm not against that. All right, so that's kind of what I guessed. I agree with that. I feel like I'm in this aesthetic, but I don't want to pigeonhole myself into one specific, so I think classic is a good kind of like happy medium for everything. I'm very interested in like the hard to read person kind of thing. I can see that. I feel like, so I'm a Libra rising, so I feel like I kind of come off very like personal, like come talk to me, come hang out with me, hi, how are you, like that kind of vibe. But then I am a Scorpio, and that's my sun. So as much as I like to meet and mingle with people, I do kind of hold up a guard. And even if I like let you in, I feel like this is like kind of weird. I don't know if I should be saying this, but I do kind of feel like there are very few people who know me completely and truly. And that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Wow, this is getting like very therapeutic all of a sudden. But now here is the fun component. Fashion time, fashion show, here we go. So I think really quickly I want to construct some classic academia looks. I think I have some outfits in mind. I just want to show them, just want to like give people the vibe, and yeah, we'll see from there. Okay, be right back. Okay, so first things first, for context, this is what I'm wearing now. So these are a pair of mom jeans just from, I think, Old Navy. This bodysuit is actually Skims. I have to say, I really do like Skims. But this is their satin, like strappy kind of bodysuit. And then this is some grandma cardigan that I got from ThredUp. I love ThredUp. But it's real wool, and I got it for like I think $30, and I just thought the color tones are so cute. I love the collar. I love that I could button up and wear it like a shirt, but then I can also wear it like kind of like a cardigan. So this is the vibe for right now. Now let's get into the outfits. I have some really cute ones in store. Just wait. So the first look that I have is very kind of like school girly, I feel like. I don't have anything on under the skirt, but I probably would put it with maybe like black tights or black like knee-high socks with like my loafers. Like that would be really cute. But I think like this goes with that vibe in the sense of like obviously the plaid and obviously the schoolgirl kind of vibe. Also, I feel like I've seen at times like corsets kind of come into play and layering kind of coming into play. So I thought like this could be really cute with it, like the two different tones. So this is actually a bodysuit from Skims again. And this is a black kind of corset from Glassons, which is a great New Zealand company. The skirt is also from there too. But I feel like once the weather gets a little bit nicer, like this would be so cute. But I also have another idea with the skirt that maybe can be more like wintry vibes. But then I also have some trousers that I want to try on too. Yeah, totally. Wow, what a vibe. Okay, so it's the same skirt from Glassons. And then underneath I have just this white button down from like Old Navy. And this sweater is actually from like a small boutique in my hometown, but like I'm giving you like boarding school realness. I love this. And again, I don't have anything on underneath, but I probably would wear like black tights or knee-high socks, like I said, with my loafers or a boot. But like this is, this is giving me like major schoolgirl vibes, but like in the best way possible. Oh my God, I love this. This is definitely a vibe. So I have the same tops on, but I have different pants. So as you can tell, they're kind of like a plaidish. There's a little belt in the front, and they're kind of pleated, I guess. That's like the terminology for the type of pants. And I like this. I like this a lot. This definitely gives me kind of more almost schoolboy vibes, which I really like about this aesthetic. I know I pointed it out before, but I really like how I can kind of play on you know, being more feminine on top with my hair and my makeup, but overall the outfit kind of have more masculine vibes. I definitely think I like this top better with the skirt, but the pants are still great and they're super comfy and maybe more practical for the weather, like right now being so cold. But these pants are, I believe, Philosophy, that's the name of the brand, and I got them from Nordstrom's on sale. But they're great. They're a little tight, because they were kind of like a little tight to begin with, and then COVID happened, and I don't really know the last time it worked out, but that's okay. That's okay. Now I have one more pair of pants that I want to show you guys, and then that'll be it for the fashion show. But I mean, I think this is fun. Okay, so these are the last pants, like the last look with them. Wow, I love these pants so much. So these are actually from Rent the Runway. I'm really debating buying them because you can buy the items at a discount if you're a member, which I am. I mean, they're just so, they're so freaking cute. I feel like you don't see pleated pants like this kind of tonal range without them being like more kilt kind of vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is so cute, and I love the hints of like beige and yellowy almost in there, so it ties in great with like a sweater this color. Again, kind of giving more like school boyish vibes, but we're here for it. We love the masculine vibes, we'll take it. But yeah, like I feel so smart wearing this. Like I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna go to like the university and like go be a professor about who knows what, but like I really feel just so confident in this aesthetic. I don't know what it is about it, but I just do. So yeah, I definitely think the classic applies to my interests, and that I have like a variation of books I like to read and poetry and text and film, but also I think in my fashion sense, and that like I kind of like the lighter cream tones, but I also do like a hint of the dark tones. I also like some of like the more interesting feminine pieces like I had before with the like kind of corset piece. But yeah, I think that's a very accurate categorization of my aesthetic. I definitely think I am the classic academia. Wow. This was so fun, oh my god. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I had so much fun figuring out which aesthetic fit me. I feel like really good about it. I feel kind of like whole. I don't know, this is getting so dramatic. I don't mean for it to be that dramatic, but this was really fun. I'm so glad I could take you guys on this journey with me, and if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye!